Welcome back, everybody, to GCTV live here in Madrid for Global Champions League Round 1 reaction. And if you have just joined us, there have been eliminations, there have been double clears, there have been surprises and disappointments. It has been an early afternoon of a lot of action. And what it does is set up the platform beautifully for what will turn into Global Champions League Round 2 later on tonight. A sensational performance from Valkenswaard United. Gilles Thomas, John Whittaker, the old and the new, coming together to put together the best double clear of the day to give them the lead. Let's show you the final results now of GCL Round 1 to put into perspective, to give you the confirmation as to how things have ended here at the halfway point of stage 5 of the GCL. Here are the final results in Madrid as to how things stand at the moment. They are finishing and faster ahead of Riesenbach International. We spoke a lot about Riesenbach International, the power team, the duo coming together of Christian Kuckuck and Philipp Weissaut. Zinedine coming back. We were excited to see the two of them together. The two 10-year-olds, Just Be Gentle and Zinedine, returning for a double clear. And New York Empire, the best of the fours, the fastest of a group of 5 teams on just 4 penalties, as New York Empire now find themselves in 3rd place at the halfway point. But, and it's a big but, you see that dramatic pause, but it was a big moment for the Shanghai Swans, who not only were they victorious in stage 4 in Shanghai a couple of weeks ago, they went from champions, all of a sudden found life very difficult here in Madrid. We'll talk about the Jean Sadran incident. We will talk about the refusal of young Jean Sadran, the impact of that on the Shanghai Swans, a bottom of the table finish, and because of that, a guaranteed 0 Madrid. Let's show you what took place for Jean Sadran in the Shanghai Swans. A very dramatic moment, 2 refusals at the fence. And unfortunately for Sadran, she approaches Longines the first time and has the refusal. But as we know, is now has the opportunity, has the time, being overlooked by Max Kuhner. Jean Sadran does the loop once more, returns to the Longines fence, and then, unfortunately, a second refusal. And because of that, an instantaneous elimination, a 0 points haul for the Shanghai Swans, and it means that Max Kuhner came out only as an individual. They will play no further part in the Global Champions League here in Madrid. There will only be 13 teams in the second round, and the Shanghai Swans are guaranteed to finish in bottom position. But all the way to the top position is Valkenswaard United, the current leaders of Global Champions League Round 1. We'll hear from them in a few moments' time as well. As mentioned, John Whittaker and Gilles Thomas, the best performers of the opening performance. Let's show you Valkenswaard United and how they performed. I like the idea of the young and old, Thomas and Whittaker, coming together. This is Valkenswaard United coming together. No Edwina Tops-Alexander here today. No Marcus Eining here today. But they have taken the decision to jump with Gilles Thomas and John Whittaker. And a solid performance from both on Hermitage Calon. Looking very solid. Let's not forget Gilles Thomas going on to win the LGCT Grand Prix of Shanghai a couple of weeks ago. So the young Belgian is in form. The young Belgian is feeling very good. And once again, continuing that great form here into Madrid, jumping yet another clear to take Valkenswaard United into a good position. That is then followed by John Whittaker, and on his always reliable Unique du Frampont, and the British veteran followed suit. He watched what his young teammate did. He put his own little spin on it, and John Whittaker jumping clear to make sure that Valkenswaard United are not only double clear, but, very important but, were faster than that of Riesenbach International. The only 2 teams on double clear, and they will be the last 2 teams to go at the end of Global Champions League Round 2. Let's hear from the leading team, Valkenswaard United.
The Valkenswaard United riders, John Whittaker, Gilles Thomas. John, starting with you to get the lead after round 1, a difficult round 1. How do you feel?
Pretty good. Gilles had a great round, and I thought I'd do the same, so it was good.
It's one of those rounds where actually the lower teams have dominated, Gilles. It's an intriguing narrative within Madrid GCL. How pleased were you with how your horse went?
Yeah, it was the first time that I rode my horse in the GCL round. So it was first experience for both of us. And okay, was jumping already very good previous shows, but it's also nice that I could deliver a good clear round for the team as well here.
John, 0.3 seconds ahead of Riesenbeck. Did you have that in your mind as you were going down to the last?
No, not really. I was concentrated on jumping clear. I was trying to be reasonably tight on the corners, but I was, you know, like I say, really trying for the clear and not really thinking about the time too much. But anyway, we're in front, so that's enough.
Gilles, your international career is going from strength to strength, but you're riding with an absolute legend of the game within Valkenswaard this season. How much you learn from John? How much do you ask John? What does John offer you as well?
Yeah, I think it's just great to ride in a team as Valkenswaard United with John and also Marcus Zening and Edwina. And I think I just can learn with my eyes a lot. I'm a lot at the same shows now, so it's nice that I can see how they do a bit of warm-up and in the ring. So I try to learn as much as possible with my eyes.
John, just looking ahead to the second round, any changes from the team? And obviously you were in this in the lead after round one in Doha, and Frank Port had that issue there. Any changes? What are your thoughts?
No, no changes. We're both riding the same horses again, so we're going to try and do the same again.
Valkenswaard United, thank you for your time, John and Gilles, and good luck for the second round.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gilles Thomas soaking in every single moment that he can alongside John Whittaker. But to be fair, this is not a youngster trying to imitate the senior rider. Gilles Thomas, as himself, as a young man, is jumping well beyond his years and looking as if he too is a very, very senior rider of the team. Valkenswaard United, your leaders at the end of Global Champions League round one. There was a lot of excitement today around Madrid in motion. We know that Eduardo Alvarez Aznar is part of that team, and because of that, all the local Spanish fans were going to be cheering for Madrid in motion. Michael van der Vleuten and Divis coming out as the first rider, and quite remarkably, Michael van der Vleuten still searching for that first clear of the season. This is a man who, at least on the Longines Global Champions Tour stage last year, was close to perfect. We know that he went right down to the wire in that wonderful title race as well. But as far as the Global Champions League is concerned, the Dutchman has struggled to find some form. A fence going down, 4 penalties for Van der Vleuten, and that opens the door for Eduardo Alvarez Aznar, who then comes into the ring today on Dorien Bali. And as the Spanish fans want, and unlike his teammate, it was absolute perfection. Aznar jumping clear, and the crowd responding beautifully as well as he comes now into the GCL, the Global Champions combination there, making his way through as well. It just looked so smooth. It looked so easy for Aznar, delivering a sensational round there, staying clear, and with that, Madrid in motion staying as one of the handful of teams, 5 teams if I'm not mistaken, on 4 penalties going into the second round. There was more drama, though. There was more difficulty throughout the rest of the course, though, because for the Mexico Amigos, there was not a very good opening stage of the Global Champions League, because with Nadia Peter-Steiner and Muda Ziada jumping today for Mexico Amigos, who, from a championship perspective, have been very good this season, wanted to be really strong. Unfortunately, for Steiner, there was a 9 and a 17 for Muda Ziada. Let's look back and hear from him as to what went wrong.
Muda, for Mexico Amigos, coming in the championship in 4th place, you'd have hoped for better from the first round. How do you feel?
Yeah, my horse had 2 faults and a little bit silly faults, you know. I landed, I didn't want to get caught in the slope we spoke about before, you know, so I stayed a little bit too quiet, ended up a little too far off the oxer, counts on me. I jumped everything else out of skin, and then another just fault on the last double verticals. Yeah, it's a pity. We do our best next round and we see how it goes.
You spoke about how Santiago, how clever he is as a course designer. He really made you think early on coming down the hill. It seemed really tricky.
For sure. I had it in mind, and I came to number 2 quite deep, so I land shallow, and then I have enough room to the ox, and I overdid that, I think. And to the last double of verticals, I thought also against the in-gate. Out of the turn, he puts it in an angle that you only see the forward one, and you cannot go forward for double verticals. And that's again a fault I saw when I was walking, and I didn't really react on it when I was riding. So hopefully next round is going to be better.
Quality teams respond in difficult situations. How do Mexico Amigos respond from round 1 to round 2? You're not the only team struggling here. What's the response, what are the changes to pick up as many championship points as you possibly can?
Well, me and Nadia, we're going to do our best. Both our horses are definitely capable of doing the job. We hope for a better second round. And I mean, the first round was no disasters, just faults out of tricky lines. So we hope we can do better next round and keep our fingers crossed.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Not the performance that Mexico Amigos were hoping for today. Mudazia, they're having a lot of difficulty coming home in 17. The team go to 26 penalties, and because of that fall all the way down the table. But they will not be at the bottom of that table because of that elimination from Jean Sandron and the Shanghai Swans. From Heroes in Shanghai, unfortunately, to quite literally 0 points here in Madrid. That first round elimination means they will not compete in the second round. They will take home 0 points from Madrid, and they will obviously lose quite a lot of ground on the overall championship table. Will history repeat itself for Valkenswaard United? They led in Doha at the halfway point, if you recall, in the opening stage of the season. They weren't able to get over the line in stage 1. Can they keep it together and get over the line in stage 5 here in Madrid? We will wait and see. We'll know those answers by the end of the night. The weather looked as if it wanted to turn. There was some grey clouds starting to form over the Club Campo de Villa here. And now, all of a sudden, quite remarkably, at the break of Global Champions League round 1, a bit of sunshine to get us ready for the big European summer. A huge, important block of events coming up over the next couple of weeks as we get ready for the French Riviera. As we go to the Côte d'Azur, we have Saint-Tropez, we have Cannes, we will head to Paris, Stockholm, etc. But all of that still needs to wait until we can wrap up here, stage 5 in Madrid. So stay with us on GCTV. A lot more to come throughout the rest of the night as we get ready to bring you the second stage, or the second round of Global Champions League stage 5 in Madrid. Valkenswaard United lead, the fastest of only 2 double clears ahead of Riesenbach International and New York Empire, who are the fastest of the teams on 4. Global Champions League round 2 comes your way in a couple moments, so stay with us on GCTV. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll see you back here in Madrid for GCL round 2.
Elegance is an attitude.
Of course it is.
These are some of the hardest shows in the world.
Competing against top of the world.
Each team is required to have one under-25 rider.
If you're good enough, you make it, and if not, then it's a little difficult.
It's not like a car. When it's broken, you bring it to the garage and it's fixed.
It's my special horse.
Yeah, there rises.
I'm stressed.
You can be on top of the world the one week and then at the bottom of the pile the next week.
Ooh, and it comes to a stop. Jumping good as well.
They always say you're as good as your last round.
Show jumping is down to the finest details.
Not trying to be fifth, just trying to be first.
Look at that! Unbelievable!
That one will be hard to beat.
Some of these under-25 riders will be the champions of tomorrow.
This feeling is...
I'm here to win and not just take part.
Global Champions League is the world's most prestigious team competition in show jumping. Top riders join forces to form elite multinational teams, competing for the sport's highest prize money.
Come on!
Each team is required to have one under-25 rider.
On the angle. What a ride!
Some of these under-25 riders will be the champions of tomorrow.
Oh, he ducks out.
It puts me on a new stage that I haven't been on before.
Be as good as we can and compete with the people at the higher level.
Yeah, you want to do it right for the team.
2 out of 2. She has not win it. She won it. She wins it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Prague.
I'm here to win and not just take part.
In 2006, Olympic medalist Jan Tops founded the Longines Global Champions Tour. The vision was to pit the world's top 30 jumpers against each other in an electrifying series of shows. The tour's thrilling challenges and iconic locations soon made it the ultimate individual show jumping circuit, where only the best make the grade. And in 2016, Global Champions added a team league, in which the top riders from different nations join forces.
Global Champions League is a team format where 6 riders come together regardless of their nationality. They've got one under-25 rider and 5 plus 25 riders, and that's pretty unique.
We believe that, to have young riders getting the experience on the highest level, for them it's a life learning curve, and that's why all the teams are obliged to give the experience to be that you have a rider under 25 in that team.
Being part of the Global Champions League is, it's a great opportunity to do these shows, and especially when you have the horses for it, you have a great chance to get into this level.
You're competing against top of the world, the best riders, best horses. It's already amazing. A lot of people are watching the Global Champions League, so there's a big impact for my career.
So it basically gives me that platform to try and produce my career and get as good as I can and gain all the experience.
Dream come true for me to be here.
In this series, we follow some of the league's most promising young riders, hungry to prove they've got what it takes to be a global champion. Will they rise to the challenge?
You want to be the best rider you can be. I want to try and keep the family name going, obviously, as well, but obviously create my own kind of brand, I guess, in the sport. I want to be the best rider. I want to be the best rider I can be, and hopefully that's the best rider in the world at some point.
The Whitakers are one of the most successful dynasties in equestrian. Michael and John are legends in the sport, but all eyes are now on Jack, the youngest of the clan.
Yeah, no. When you have the Whitaker name, people think there's a lot of pressure behind it, but there's none at all. You know, it's fantastic. I couldn't have asked for a better upbringing around horses than the family we had. We must nearly have 100 horses on the farm at home, from foals to retirees that my father was winning Grand Prix on. So as an influencer, you couldn't say anybody else. I wouldn't be here without him at all. You know.
There was no other option for Jack Whitaker than to become a show jumper. With his father being so successful, his uncle, his nephews, his nieces, siblings, the whole family is so deeply embedded in the sport that there was no other option. If he would not compete, I think he would have been kicked out of the family.
I had a much bigger advantage than a lot of other young riders would have had in their time, and I understand that. I'm just trying to take as much advantage of that as possible.
For the 2022 championship season, Jack was invited to join the Madrid in Motion team.
We knew the owner of the team, the manager of the team before anyway, and he's a good family friend of ours, and I I think they needed an under-25 rider, and I guess they thought of me.
Well, he's one of the most talented young riders from now, and okay, with the surname he has, Whitaker's, for sure he's gonna keep on the legend alive for a long time.
I'm not trying to prove myself to anybody, but more I just want to make sure I keep winning, and I deserve to be there, you know. For someone like me to be a part of the Madrid Motion team, it's a great opportunity to try and further my career, gain as much experience as possible. I won't be able to get into these shows otherwise. Obviously, you want to compete with the team as much as possible and try and hopefully get the team higher up in the rankings.
Another young rider getting attention is Ireland's Michael Pender, who's earned his place in the sport thanks to hard work and very supportive horse owners.
How I started working at HHS was Marion asked me to ride a pony, and it started from there, and then I'm still here 6 years later working with them. I've been very, very lucky. They've given me the best opportunities and some fantastic horses to ride, so I'm very, very grateful to them.
I've been breeding horses all my life. My father loved horses, so he built a team of horses back in 30 years ago, and I've been lucky enough to be able to continue it and to compete at this high level with Mikey. It's a dream for us.
If you look at Michael Pender's story, for some might have been a surprise. He wasn't the big name, he wasn't a big Grand Prix winner like some other under-25 riders. The horses grow with him, his talent grows, his contribution to Saint-Tropez Pirate grows, so it's a great story of how you can really earn your place in Global Champions League, and if you perform, this is the springboard for your career. So it was really good sourcing to bring Michael Pender into the Saint-Tropez Pirates team. And though he was a surprise to many, he straight away found his groove, he straight away found his rhythm.
This season I want to jump as many clear rounds as I can for the Saint-Tropez Pirates and the GCL leagues. I think I have a fantastic group of horses that can really help with it.
Hello and welcome to the 2022 Global Champions League season. It kicks off right here in Doha, Qatar on the Arabic Peninsula.
Each stage of the Longines Global Champions Tour involves 2 rounds of jumping in the team league. Riders jump against the clock and receive penalty points for knocking down fences or exceeding the time allowed. For each round, 2 riders are picked to represent their teams. And in this first stage in Doha, both Jack and Michael get that chance. Jack and Michael both jump clear in the first round, with 1 fence down in the second. But in the end, Jack's team is fastest, earning 3rd place on the podium.
It was a great way to kick it all off with a new team in the new year. So I was a little bit disappointed with the 1 down. It's a great feeling. It was my first podium with the team. It was only the first show, but you also want to be on top of the podium.
I rode Calais. I was clear the first day on the team, and I had 1 down the second day. My mistake. The horse jumped very good. We were a little bit unlucky with the team, but the horses were in good form, and hopefully we can do a bit better.
In the heat of Miami Beach, the championship continues, with new young riders joining the tour.
Hi, I'm Sanne Thijssen. I'm 23 years old. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm the under-25 rider of Istanbul Sultans in the Global Champions League.
Sanne Thijssen hit the spotlight last year in an amazing jump-off with 2021's world #1 rider, Daniel Deusser.
Look at that, 46.28 seconds. Unbelievable, unbelievable from Sanne Thijssen.
Yeah, Valkenswaard was a really tough show. That was the only global I could ride last year. Yeah, what I said, it was in Holland, so I got a spot there.
The Longines Global Champions Tour features the world's top show jumpers, but at each location, the best national.
Winning it, being second next to such a great big rider is a good feeling. Of course, you always want to win.
I think Istanbul Sultans picked Sanne Thijssen for several reasons. It's a new team with riders that haven't always featured at the level, so they needed a little bit of experience, which is bizarre if you think about it, that you go to an under-25 rider for experience, but she already had some experience at 5-star level, but it's that performance in Valkenswaard that really put her in the spotlight, I think.
This season, as part of the Istanbul Sultans team, Sanne can compete in all global champion shows. Could this be the year she wins her first LGCT Grand Prix?
She's amazing. She's a fierce competitor. She has a great connection with her horses. You can really see the horses love their job, and they always do their best for her. And when she's in the ring, she's tough to beat.
I start riding on a young age, of course, on ponies. At that moment, you don't really realize that your father is riding on the big level because, yeah, you're a kid. I mean, when you start on the really small ponies, yeah. The ride is fun. Yeah, you think, yeah, he's horse riding. I'm also horse riding. Yeah. When I started by the horses, I started to do internationals. Yeah, and then you win a bit, and then you get motivated, and yeah, every time you get higher, you get that feeling, and then you realize that you want more and that you want to go higher and bigger.
Hello and welcome to Miami Beach, Global Champions League. It is the second round of the season's second stage here on South Beach in the state of Florida, the Sunshine State.
Miami is quite hot. Actually, we had in Holland, I think 1 week or 2 weeks ago, snowing. So from snow to this weather, it's really intense, yeah.
It's an amazing show here in Miami. To have a show so close to the beach, I think it's the only show in the world like this.
In each round, teams pick 2 riders and horses to compete, and it comes down to which ones are in the best shape to face the challenge.
What I love about riding is it's an animal. Like, it's not like a car. When it's broken, you bring it to the garage and it's fixed. No. If a horse doesn't feel right, you cannot say, hey, come, today you have to do your job right. You have to feel how they are and how you can make a horse happy.
I believe it's a fantastic sport to be working with an animal, not just relying on yourself. It's, with horses, somebody is good one day and someone is unlucky and it's not their day, and there's always another day.
In Miami, Jack's horse needed a rest.
Every horse is different. She's a bit sharp and she sees everything, she hears everything, so I thought it was better for us if I could have a few easy rounds.
That's Daniel Deusser warming up on Killer Queen. This is Michael Pender. Michael on HHS Calais.
It's always a fantastic feeling when you get told you're on the team and to represent the Saint-Tropez Pirates. Today we're riding with Daniel Deusser, one of the best in the world, so hopefully we'll have a good result today.
The first round in Miami didn't go so well for Sanne and Konkidam, with 3 fences down.
Well, that was a bit disappointing. The whole season he never had 3 down, and today we have 3 down. Shit happens. Well, that's a sport, huh? But you do want to do it right for the team.
It was a better day for Michael, who jumped clear for the team with his Irish superstar, Calais.
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. It's fantastic to jump a clear round for the Saint-Tropez Pirates. I'm absolutely delighted.
Michael Pender is a very young rider in our team, but you don't really realize or you don't really feel it with him. He's very experienced already. Actually, he performed much better than me today. He jumped a clear round. I had 4 faults afterwards. Yeah, I hope I can do it better than on Saturday.
In round 2, the pressure's now on for Michael to deliver a double clear for the team.
Show jumping is down to the finest details, the smallest of margins.
And here's that difficult triple, and no, he can't.
You're disappointed to have 1 down, but the horse jumped very good, and I'm absolutely delighted with how he jumped. And it's a very, very difficult course, and it's so hot today. At the moment, it's hard to know what place we're going to get with the team, and we're a bit unlucky today.
While Michael may have ended on a bit of a downer in Miami, a rising star from Belgium caught everyone's eye when he placed 3rd in the LGCT Grand Prix. After this amazing individual performance, under-25 rider Jill Thomas was picked for his team, Valkenswaard United, at the next stage.
Welcome to Mexico City for the 3rd launching Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of the 2022 season. Welcome at the Campo Marte, the battlefield.
To be part of the Valkenswaard United is a real privilege. I was born in a horse family. My uncle, Mark van Dijk, I was always riding at the highest level for Belgium. I started riding horses quite soon, I think at age of 12 or 13. I think almost every year I won a medal on the Belgian championships, on the European championships. And I think it's also one of the reasons that I'm now in Valkenswaard United. First time I rode for Valkenswaard United in the team was in Hamburg, together with Marcus Zening. We ended up straight away on the podium. So that was something fantastic. Come home and the people say, oh, hey, you were standing next to Marcus Zening on the podium. You realize that? I say, yeah, that was me. But actually, when they ask some journalists who is your all-time idol or who is your favorite rider, I will always say Marcus Zening.
Yeah, I think he's a very quiet person. He's very focused. He can really feel in his horses how he has to ride them, and he's always a positive guy that we really like.
Last year we won, it was amazing. But you have to realize we are with 16 teams. They all want to win. It's not that you have every year the chance to ride in such a team. So I have to work hard for it and keep the results going on.
Gilles is a record-breaking 4-time Belgian champion. But will he keep bringing the titles home now he's in the big leagues?
Here comes Gilles Thomas, talented Belgian. Here's Thomas, Luna, clear.
They were super strong, and I don't think they wanted to risk bringing in Gilles Thomas when they had Ening, when they had Fredriksson, when they had Edwina Tops-Alexander. Now the season for Valkenswaard United is completely different. Gilles Thomas is 1 year older, his horses are 1 year older, and all of a sudden you see that he's becoming, I'm not going to call him the cornerstone of the team, but he's really contributing. If the stats prove it, I mean, he produced the lowest average score of the entire team. The team has developed the confidence in Gilles Thomas, and Gilles Thomas has also developed confidence in himself.
Here's Gilles Thomas on his season debut for the team. Is he going to produce the first clear for the team in 10 rounds? Here's Thomas, Luna, clear. That helps them. That helps Valkenswaard United. That throws them a lifeline.
Gilles jumps clear in the first round in Mexico City, picking up 4 penalties in the second round, with his team finishing in 5th place overall. Meanwhile, Michael Pender, fueled by his disappointment in Miami, turns it all around.
Pender, who has produced a first round clear at every stage in Doha, in Miami, and now also in Mexico. And Michael Pender is the second man this weekend to jump a double clear over both rounds.
Michael finally makes it to the podium, helping the Saint-Tropez Pirates to 2nd place.
I mean, and Mikey is a star. I mean, he's a genius. I knew he was going to make it to this level, and he is a young rider, but he is an old head on young shoulders.
Meanwhile, Jack Whittaker is in trouble.
Yeah, I was just fucking in the stables there and walking past the horse, and it just jumped up and kicked out and got me right, like kicked me in the back, but like just left in my spine. But it like ruptured my spleen, stopped bleeding inside again, then have to operate and probably take it out.
While Jack doesn't know how long his spleen injury will keep him out of action this season, Sanna and Gilles get another chance to stand out when the championship comes back to Europe in vibrant Madrid. Even when they're not riding for their Global Champions League team, being a part of these world-class events lets these young stars shine.
Today I'm not part of the team. I'm started as individual. Every show you can send 3 riders to a stage and only 2 ride for the team.
In Madrid, the Global Champions riders can also enter the Copa del Rey, a 5-star class and a huge deal here in Spain.
But actually I like the pressure. When there's some pressure, it keeps me more concentrated. And anyway, I have to ride, if I'm not riding for the team, I ride individual, and I have to ride also good. It gives also always a little bit more pressure. but I like it.
And here comes Caleriama, also flat out, has to check once, 41.06. De Vos on Thomas, De Vos on Thomas. By a second, it is Gilles Thomas who takes the lead. The lead goes from hand to hand, from Schweitzer to Swollen to De Vos to Thomas.
The pressure brings results as Gilles triumphs and wins the Copa del Rey in an insane jump-off. Meanwhile, Sanne makes it to her first LGCT Grand Prix jump-off this season, and she's hungry for success.
Yes, I'm really competitive. I think it's normal on this level, right? I mean, you're not riding this level just for fun. I mean, a top sporter rides to win, of course. I think I'm also in like jump-offs, I'm that person who really take risks and not trying to be fifth, just trying to be first.
Always Sanne's very thankful and very appreciative of what I'm doing, so it makes you want to work even harder for the results. I never actually worked for somebody who works so hard.
I think this is like the most thing we all respect about her, that she's so hardworking, and if you see her in the ring and she's doing well, it gives you even more like a great feeling that she's doing so well because she works so hard.
What is so interesting about Sanne Thijssen is that off her horse, she's super insecure. Once she gets on a horse, she's a different person.
If you don't have a horse, you cannot jump the course yourself, huh? Yeah, Conquidam is really special to me. I think he's a once-in-a-lifetime horse. I think it's also really the combination we are together, because I know him already from when he was 7 and he's 16 now. So we know each other for a really long time.
All that she thinks about is how to keep Conquidam happy. And if she can keep him happy, if she can keep that sparkle between the two of them, he'll jump through fire for her.
I really want to win a global Grand Prix, and now I have the opportunity, and now I want to take this chance.
She wants to win that trophy. She wants to win this title here in Madrid. Here comes Sanne Thijssen. She hasn't won a Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix yet. She was second in Valkenswaard and now risking it all on this super fast horse, this superstar, Conquidam and Sanne Thijssen for 39.1. She has not won it. She won it. She wins it. There's Sanne Thijssen. It's magic. It's unbelievable. It's Dutch and she wins at the age of 23. Sanne Thijssen is a Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix winner.
This feeling is, you can't even put words on it. I can't even speak at the moment. I can't breathe at the moment. But my horse did such an amazing job, and everything came out after the last fence. I was screaming like... It's almost impossible to enter these shows if you're not in a team.
And that's what makes this format so unique, that it's really like a greenhouse, a climate, an environment where talent can develop. So it's creating the stars of tomorrow already today.
Coming up, as the championship tour heads to Saint-Tropez and Hamburg, the battle intensifies. All eyes are on Gilles and Sanne. Can they keep up their game?
I don't think that people see me now as a kid anymore.
Michael fights to keep the clear rounds coming for his team, and Jack is hopeful for a comeback.
There's so many youngsters with a great vibe, with a great personality, feeling privileged to ride on those teams, bringing extra energy, extra juice. It all adds to the excitement.
In the life of a rider, each jump is a journey, every heartbeat an opportunity, and competition is where the spectacle begins. Every victory, a celebration. Amidst the luxury and elegance, I found my home. I recall the highs and lows as if they were yesterday. But for every triumph, there's a battle fought. For every leap forward, a step back in time. The tension between competitors fuels the fire. It's a dance between skill and determination, culminating in podiums and triumphant celebrations. From city to city, we cross the globe in pursuit of glory, overcoming obstacles and embracing the challenge at every turn. Each rider is a testament to perseverance and dedication. Each competitor a source of inspiration and motivation. As I look back on the journey, I see the challenges, the triumphs, the moments that define us, each memory etched in the fabric of time, shaping us into who we are today. Together, we've written a story of courage and passion. And as we gaze towards the future, let us remember that the true essence of sport lies not in the outcome, but in the journey it inspires. Today begins a new story, and I want to live it with you here in the new season of the Longines Global Champions Tour and Global Champions League.
Don't miss out on the Global Champions 2024 season. We are back, and finally this year in 2024, the Global Champions League enters its 8th season.
It's a team championship over 15 stages, with riders of different nationalities competing on each team.
Every team has a team manager who selects a maximum of 6 riders for the season, and they must contain at least one under 25.
Halfway through the season, the transfer window allows the team's manager to change riders on their roster. This year, the transfer window opens after Paris and closes before Stage 9 in Stockholm.
A maximum of 3 riders travel with each team to each stage, but only 2 of them can compete at the 2 rounds of GCL.
Between rounds, a manager can swap in a horse or change rider.
The penalties of both riders are added over the 2 rounds, meaning there's no drop score.
In case of a tie on points, the added times from round 2 will be the tiebreaker.
The team that wins the stage will add 30 championship points to its tally.
Teams are battling to finish in the top 4 in the championship, as that takes them straight to the semi-finals of the Global Champions Playoffs this year, held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
And the team with the most points at the end of the season will be crowned 2024 Global Champions League winners.
My name is Kristina Ribicic, and I'm the groom of Jody Hall McAtee. My job consists of making sure that the horses are at their best to perform at this level. First of all, there's a lot of traveling involved, and you're traveling everywhere with your horses. The main challenges of grooming would be making sure you're on time, making sure you're organized. In the mornings, I give my horses hay, give them hard feed, make sure they have plenty of fresh water, muck them out, check their legs and their whole body. The busiest part of the day at the show would be preparing the horse for the competition. We spend 24 hours with the horses, and we do everything for the horses and for the rider. It's very important to give the right love to the horses and the right care. I just love my horses. They're like my babies.
Courageous,
organized, dedication, skillful,
artist,
modern,
genius,
perfection. I'm trying to get in the right state of mind.
I am Peder Fredriksson.
He has a lot of experience, a great rider.
Peder is really inspiring. He loves to share his knowledge.
When you win, you're celebrating together. If it goes badly, you share it with the team. I like it.
But it's not so easy.
He has a lot of skills.
Peder made the sport bigger in Sweden. The sport would be different if he wouldn't been there.
Biggest moment with the most pressure, he can stay so calm and so focused.
And that is the answer. How could it be #1 in the world?
And this is pursuit of greatness.
Innovation for me comes as part of my work as being a rider and a competition rider and horseman. When you're on a certain level and you want to become better, obviously you cannot do the same. And then you have to develop new things and try new things. And you have to be brave and you have to accept maybe you try 10 things. None of them might work. But if one is working, it's going to be worth it because then you're going to take one little step forward. That has driven me to develop new things. I'm Petter Fredriksson, and this is Pursuit of Greatness. To invent new things, you have to have knowledge. It's not enough just to say, I would like to do something new. If you don't have the background and the experience, I'm actually not only for new things. I'm really respecting traditions. A long time ago, I read Alois Podolsky's book, The Horse and Rider from the Spanish Riding Schools. I read 3 times, and you can learn so much from it. I realized that the better the horses feel, the happier they are, the better they will perform. So I've made some changes during the years for 2 reasons. One is because I like the horses. I want them to have a good life. But then the second reason is because I want success.
He's very driven of searching for development. Maybe the last 5-7 years it's been much more of it. Because I think together with the confidence that you maybe believe more and more and more that you don't need to do like everyone else. Maybe you should do your own way of taking things.
The first idea is that I did was at the Olympics in Barcelona when I rode Hilly Trip. Jan Jönsson, my trainer, told me that I should run the roads and tracks instead of riding on her, just to save her for the cross country. And the boots I had were really uncomfortable to run in. So I went to a cobbler and I took my trainers and I said, I would like you to make me a pair of riding boots that feels like these trainers. And I would like to have them really light because I have a small horse. I'm a big guy and 3-day eventing is a lot of effort for the horse.
He is a couple of steps ahead of the rest of us. So he was already then, seeing things that we hadn't seen. He saw the problem and he made a change to it that he really benefited from.
My wife, Stina, from the beginning, she thought that Peter was a dreaming artist type. She said, Fredrik, Peter is almost like a copy of you now. He's just working in the future with new ideas and development.
My father is now running a project called the Brösas Project. That's something actually an idea he had for many, many years. This is the project he has with the way you bring up horses in a natural way to make them actually better prepared for the life as a sporting horse. When we buy a horse, we don't check if it's been standing inside in a small pen or if it's been outside, training the ligaments and the hooves and all these things. In the future, we're going to be more interested in these aspects because for sure this has a huge influence on
Welcome along, everybody. This is Global Champions League Round 2 live from the Club Campo de Mavia Madrid here. We are really excited to see how this is going to play out. As you can see over my shoulder, Round 2 course walk is officially underway. All of the riders competing in that second round are officially inside the ring. They are busy measuring their strides. They are taking their notes, and they are trying to work out how best to tackle this arena, this ring that has been set up by Santiago Varela here at the Club Campo de Villa in Madrid. There's a lot to talk about. Frederik de Backer will be standing by. We'll go to him in a few moments' time. We'll go back to Dan Strange, who will be inside the ring talking to some of the newcomers in for round 2, talking to perhaps the leaders or struggles or the surprises of Global Champions League round 1. So stay with us as we continue to prepare and break down what is taking place. First and foremost, though, let's take a look at what a virtual ranking looks like. If Global Champions League were to end now as it stands without a second round, this is how things would look. Cannes Stars would still hold on to their lead, but there would be a climb for New York Empire, who currently, as it stands, in third place, would jump up to second place with their 21 points. Doha Falcons would continue to improve. Falcons United, who lead the fastest of the 2 double clears, would take home the maximum 30 points and jump up to 34. And Razorback International, powered by Kingsland, so much talk around them needing to be good today, needing to win today. Christian Kuckuck and Philipp Weissaut in for the Germans. If they were to finish in second place, this is a virtual standing. If they were to finish in second place, take home 25 points, they would jump up to 82 and find themselves in 7th place on the table. Mexico Amigos would struggle with only 9, and Scandinavian Vikings, well, disappointment for them. They certainly would not climb. And the Shanghai Swans, who take home 0 points, would actually be far worse off than that as well. So there's the virtual rankings here in Madrid as we get ready for the second round of Global Champions League. Now, a lot more to look forward to and a lot more to chat about. As we mentioned, Frederik de Backer is standing by for us as we get ready to take a look at how round 2 is going to shape up. Frederik de Backer, welcome back to the show. Round 1 is done. Round 2 about to get underway. Let's start by talking changes. Which teams have done what?
Well, two teams have not done anything at all, Mark. Those are Monaco Aces, powered by Lion of Portugal on one side. On the other side, as they already mentioned in their leading team interview, it is Valkenswaard United, where Gilles Thomas stays with Hermitage Cologne and where John Whittaker stays with Equine America Unique de Francfort. Hermitage Cologne is going to jump his first meter 60 class, Mark. It's important. The horse has never jumped at meter 60 level before. Everybody thinks the world of that horse. It's the first time that he will be able to show it, but it's at a crucial moment. I don't need to remind you of what happened in Doha 2 months ago when, at that point, Equine America de Francfort was lost to go with John Whittaker, and that horse spun out, and it cost Valkenswaard United their first win of the championship, and at that point, even the lead in the teams. The horse changes, and then you have to talk about to make changes. We see starters come in. Horse, have to look at the of round 1 for those significant horse changes. Riesenbeck International bring in Checker and Kobe. It is New York Empire bring in Hello Jefferson and Hardessa. Madrid in Motion bring in Beauville Z and Rockefeller de Pleville, Bois-Marcomac. So at the end, we've got some very strong horses coming in. Balutino comes in for Laura Kraut. So there's quite some significant and exciting horses coming in. And you just wonder that for some, it isn't too late. The ones that I mentioned, Madrid, New York, and Riesenbeck, for them, they are still full in the game. But if you look at, for example, Doha Falcons with Willem Vermeer going to IQ, Simon Lestre going to Dexter Fontenay on a score of 12, it feels like that will be too late. Same for Stockholm Hearts, who are on 16, where Nicolas Philipparts comes in on Moya van de Bisschop. I am afraid that that is also too little, too late.
So, Frederick, now I'm really going to test you, because if it's hard enough to pick favorites at the start of Global Champions League round 1, which, to your credit, you normally always do very, very well. Based on what you've told me, if I think about these changes, if I think about Madrid Emotion, I see Riesenbeck International, Falcons Rad United, etc. How do you begin to even look at who might be a favorite for the title here in Madrid? Where do your favorites lie for GCL round 2?
For the title, purely for the win, you have to look within the teams on 4 penalties, Mark. I don't see a team on 8. They might make it onto the podium, but not to win the stage. Teams on 4 penalties, Rogue Gladiators, Denver de Talma comes in. Balotino is a great horse, but I don't have my money on them. I don't think it's going to come from Istanbul Warriors. If we are talking winning, Mark, winning, I'm looking at the last 4 teams on the start list, and I'm not thinking of Falcons Rad United. I am thinking of New York or Riesenbeck. And if you twist my arm, I have to go for the 2-time champions, Riesenbeck International.
All right, Frederick de Backer, if I have to twist your arm, I like that. Right, Frederick de Backer, we'll come back to you a little bit later on. We're going to find out what Santiago Varela has put together here for Madrid for round 2. As once again, as you can see, there's this beautiful break in the clouds, and the summer sun has just opened up over this beautiful arena as the riders just over my shoulder continue with their course walk today. Now, speaking of course walk, speaking of riders, oh, take a look at that. As we said, the beautiful sun open up on the arena as we get ready for the summer season here. Dan Strange is inside that ring, and he is standing by with one of the favorites, arguably, as we said in the beginning of the day. Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland, were going to be the team to look out for. Christian Kuckuck is back in that power duo with Philip Weishout. He is alongside Dan Strange. Dan, how is Christian feeling?
Well, Mark, it's warm down here, but there's one cool customer alongside me. Christian Kuckuck, as ever, looking cool, feeling cool. Riesenbeck International. Frederick de Backer has just said you are the favourites, the dream team. How do you feel ahead of round 2?
Yeah, that's nice that he says that. I think we can go with a good feeling in the second round. Anyway, we had a very good first round. Actually, we had a start how we wanted it to have. Everything worked out and was running like how we planned it. So we are still only halfway through. We know that a lot of things can happen in the second round, but we will be surely awake of it. We changed both of our horses now. I hope that's a good choice anyway for us. We have now Checker and Kobe with a lot of experience. So I think that's actually something good to have here in this big, huge grass arenas. When I look at the course now, actually, it looks quite long. He's using the whole arena. We have not so many short distances. There's only one 5-stride distance towards the end, which is the shortest stride line here over the whole course. I would say the height is fair, but he's using quite clever the up and downhill parts of that arena. There's many places where you have to canter a bit up the hill, jump up the hill, then you go downhill, jump a tall vertical downhill. So I think he's using that quite clever in that arena, and we for sure will have faults enough in the end, and it's going to be as exciting as it ever is.
There's a lot of twists and turns in the course. As you said, it's a long course. How much is natural pace important over forcing the pace, obviously, in the second round?
Well, I mean, natural pace is never wrong. That's always good to have. Especially in a long course like we're having now, if you don't have to ask too much space from your horse from the beginning, like over the natural space, which could cost you maybe a fault in the end because it just get a bit flat. That's definitely a good thing to have. Luckily, I would say both of us have natural fast horses. Anyway, the time now in the second round is much more important than in the first round. So if we have an equal score, we need to be faster than the other teams, which easily could happen to us. I mean, we have only 2 teams with clear rounds, and then I think there are coming 4 or 5 teams with 4 points. So easily you will end up equal with some other teams, and you just have to be faster than the other ones. And then, like we said, it's never wrong if you have a natural fast horse.
Christian, thanks for your time. Good luck to you, Philip and Rosenbeck International for round two. Mark, back to the studio, but Christian and Rosenbeck International looking cool and confident.
Yeah, but it's very interesting, Dan, that he is starting to talk about time already. And we know that in Global Champions League round 2, the time becomes crucial. But the question around natural time and forcing the time, as Christian says, he expects on a tricky course like this set up by Santiago Varela, he expects there to be faults, challenging that slope, challenging a big, difficult course. Fences are going to go down, which means time is going to be crucial. And already now, Rosenbeck International, powered by Kingsland, are perhaps keeping an eye on that. And I wonder what kind of impact that's going to have on the approach of Philip Weishout, on the approach of Christian Kukuk as they make their way out a little bit later on today. They will be the penultimate team out of the gate, and Checker and Kobe come in. And we know that there's no problems when it comes to time and Kobe. So let's wonder what the impression, what the intent is going to be like from Riesenbeck, knowing that Valkenswaard United need to come in after them with no changes made from Gilles Thomas and John Whittaker. More preparation from Global Champions League round 2 coming up in a few moments' time. We are live from Madrid. This is GCTV. We take a break. When we return, we get ready for Global Champions League round 2.
Elegance is an attitude. Of course it is. Elegance is an attitude. Of course it is.
Welcome back to GCTV, everybody. This is live from Madrid, Global Champions League Stage 5, as we get ready to get some thoughts and some reaction from Frederick de Backer. Frederick, let's talk about what Santiago Varela has put together here. Round 1 was intriguing. Does the slope come into play again? What can we expect for GCL round 2?
Well, Mark, the slope, a slope will always be in there, but it does feel that he wants to play with it less than in round 1. Have a look at what he's built already. Just the first 3 fences really made it somewhat of a speed class. Look at how this goes, how this turns round. So really a lot of place to make it a shorter turn, or maybe a wider turn to lose or to win time. Same here again. Go wide or go short in order to adapt your approach to the team tactics. That's one thing that really stands out. By the way, what I just heard from those riders, those first two oxers, which are normally quite fair, quite nice to start into the rhythm, straight away two very, very big oxers. And this oxer is slightly downhill, so keep an eye on the front rail at fence number 2. As you make your way and make your rhythm from fence 1 to fence 2 over to fence 3, next it is quite a flowing 6 stride. So if you're in that rhythm, those 6 will be nice. If you've been riding a little bit secure, a little bit safe, the 6 will get a little bit longish. So actually, it does feel that if you start with a good flow in here, it will be nicer here as well. You don't have to fiddle with that rhythm as much as you would otherwise have to do. It's a little bit what Christian Koekkoek already said. Try to keep your same rhythm and don't use or exaggerate on burning energy early in the course. And then this is where the slope comes in. Then here you go uphill. And here again, you've got that highest point of the arena. You come uphill. And I don't know where this sits. Is this still uphill or is this still downhill? I don't know where that fifth fence sits, rather. And the question is, because you've got an option. From 5 to 6, there is an outside 8 and there is an inside 7. Now, there's a lot to say about that line. Normally, coming in on 7 strides, you take 1 stride out and you would say that you are riding faster than normal. But if you can keep the pace and you can keep this nice and tidy and jump a little bit to the outside, again, swarm to the outside and stay moving on 8 strides, that is actually fairly reasonable. So reducing or getting straighter, going wider here to get straight for the 7 strides might actually cost you more time than it would normally do. Next is the triple combination, 7 A oxer and 2 strides, and then that smart double of verticals by the grandstands right there. The 2 strides, horses often speed up. We've seen it already through the season. So again, that the double of verticals at the end of the triple combination is something that stands out. Wondering how many will get caught into those double of uprights at the end. It's a standard 7 next to come out of that combination. And then again, like I said, he's kind of building this as a real speed class. You go up the hill, and then where does this fence sit? Yep, I do think it's downhill. As from here, you go downhill to fence 9. So do mind that vertical. I think it's of Mahou. And then about that rollback. This is real speed class. This is real jump off material right there, Mark, in that approach. It's a standard 5 that follow in the line after from 10 to 11. But this turn is going to be a very interesting one for those teams on 4 penalties, or those teams that are still on double clear and that are fighting for the time. Imagine that Kobe or that Checker would have a fence down. This is one of those places where those teams and those horses can make up a lot of time. And then you've got that pace, you've got that speed. It's not overly bulky in the second part of this course. And then it gets very light. Fence 12 and fence 13, a plank at the final fence, and a very airy, very delicate fence at 12. Downhill again. Horses open, balanced a little bit off, riding for the win, riding for a fast 4, a fast clear, who will tell? Those are 2 fences to keep an eye on. But there's 2 more things. Just keep an eye, Mark. 1 turn, 2 turns. Here's a long turn. This is a long turn. And this is a long turn. Lots of places to win time. Mark, this is really built as a speed class. And Santiago Varela is really going to test them how fast they want to go and they dare to go. Those 7 teams within 1 rail of each other.
Right, thank you very much. Frederik de Backer, winding, bending lines. If 11A was a bogey fence in round 1, now all of a sudden it becomes a speed course. It becomes an instant jump off for Global Champions League round 2, as Santiago Varela has really decided to make time a factor here. Which of these teams then are going to best execute that? Which of these teams, after fences may well fall, are going to be able to dedicate those turns, those bends as best as possible? Let's take a look at the current rankings. We remind you and give you an idea as to how things stand here in Global Champions League Round 2. 2 teams on double clear. Valkenswaard United and Razorback International, separated only by time. Then 5 teams on 4. New York Empire, the best of those teams. But Madrid Emotion, Istanbul Warriors, Monaco Aces and Rome Gladiators still very much in the hunt. Just a single fence away from the leading 2 teams. So they'll be feeling as if they are still very much in with a shout here in Madrid, with just a single fence separating themselves and Razorback International and Valkenswaard United. And then, as Frederick pointed out, might be a stretch too far for the teams on 8, 12, and of course 16 and 17 for the teams in the bottom half to put themselves in contention for a 2024 Madrid title here in the Global Champions League. That is the stadium announcer getting us ready. That is the start of the rest of the afternoon, the early stages of the evening here in Madrid. There are a handful of individuals still to come. They will all be available for you for free here on GCTV. And if you want to watch the teams, you need to make sure that you go on and subscribe for your GCTV live pass. The action continues live here in Madrid. This is GCTV, and the second round of Global Champions League is around the corner. We'll see you soon.
But it is already much and much sunnier than it was earlier this early afternoon. Now, late afternoon, which is still a beautiful moment here in the Spanish capital, as Christian Kukuk finds himself a bit more fruit to top up on energy and on vitamins ahead of this second round of Global Champions League, but also Grand Prix qualifier, of course, coming up, as we have got a Grand Prix qualifier with 46 riders in it, and that means that 6 riders will not make the cut for the Grand Prix, the 5th Grand Prix of the season of launching Global Champions Tour Grand Prix, to be held here on Sunday, not tomorrow. So there is a day break. There's a day's break between the qualifier and the Grand Prix. Santiago Varela has built the course. He informs us that his time allowed is set at 50 or at 80, or was it 84 seconds? And preparations underway for the Grand Prix qualifier, the Trofeo Marqués de Riscal.
We're still qualifying towards Sunday's Grand Prix here as well for the launching Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Madrid. And for the team competition, eyes on our teams carrying forward the scores from round 1. 2 teams on a 0 score, that's Razorback International and Valkenswaard United. Then it's placed 5.
And that is Ben Mears' son and Sophie Mears, who is enjoying the launching Global Champions Tour mascot more than the GCLs. His father, of course, won GCL twice, launching Global Champions Tour 3 times. Highlights of the course walk ahead of this qualifier, and of course of round 2.
So looking forward to how the team plays out. Let's say individual riders to come first.
The Belgians with Philippe Aerts and Bruinseels, and Scott Brash, a 12-time LGCT Grand Prix winner, and with that he holds the record. Here is the start list of this qualification. Jérôme Guéry on Carreca LS Elite, then Mariano Martinez Bastida, Fernando Martinez Sommer has come off the Prague Lions team, then Teresa Blasquez Abascal with Nazada Toxandria, and so it continues, as at one point we meet up with the team riders, but that is only after we meet Max Kühner. He is 20th to go, Max Kühner, as he does not compete on Shanghai Swans. The Swans are eliminated from round 1 and so do not compete in round 2. From there, we are talking teams already. Early starting teams are the teams like Stockholm Hearts, are the teams like the Mexico Amigos and Scandinavian Vikings. At the end of this qualifier, there you have him, Eduardo Aznar, the championship leader on the launching Global Champions Tour. He is on Madrid Emotion, but still some riders to go after him. There is the New York Empire squad, there is the Razorback squad, and the Valkenswaard team as well, with McAteer, Brash, Kukuk, Weishaupt, Thomas and Whittaker. We are in Madrid, in the beautiful Club Campo de Villa, in that beautiful historical stadium as well, where we are ready for this Grand Prix qualifier and attached to it the second round of the Global Champions League Stage 5 of the season. In the background, the fanfare announces the start of the qualifier, and Jérôme Guéry will be first to go. A total of 105,000 euro in prize money in the purse. And Guéry comes in on Carreca LS Elite, the Mexican bred by Caruso La Silla, Rebozo La Silla as dam's sire, and so registered in the La Silla stud book. This Carreca LS. And if you ever hear of these horses and you hear the name La Silla, that is literally the stud farm, the breeding farm of the Romo family. If it has LS in the name, like Carreca LS Elite, then it is registered in the La Silla stud book. And of course, the horses of the Romo family are registered in the stud book, so means that they have an LS behind the name and the La Silla as they've bred it. This Carreca LS is bred by Rodrigo Padilla Olvera and is bred out of Rebecca LS, who was so successful with Edouard Levy. Rebecca herself a sister of Out of the Blue SCF, the Spy Coast farm mare that jumped, or now jumps with Catherine Dinan, Katie Dinan from the States. Anyway, let's focus on Jérôme Guéry and see how Carreca will take on this competition. Very light fault they had in the Shanghai Grand Prix. Jumped very confident in Shanghai. And now those first two fences, three fences out of the way. Looping through the course of Santiago Varela, the slightly forward six into the double. And then up the hill, Grupo ULN. The holding 8, and then you have to turn right into the triple. You go downhill, the balance goes downhill as well of the horses. And now slow down for, very quick in there in the legs. Great jumping from Carreca. And it's the front rail of Porsche that goes now on the 7 strides. Next is the rollback, Ola, and then the rollback to Caser Seguros. And Guéry into the final line. Very delicate material there. And the final fence is a blank delicate stuff as well. As horses have been opening up, there you have it, 81.34, 4 penalties for Jérôme Guéry with the Carreca LS. It's not a clear, but in theory, it is a result that should take him into the Grand Prix of tomorrow. Jérôme Guéry and Carreca. Time allowed 84 seconds. Guéry finished in 81.34. So in fairness, that is not much. There's not much in it. And there's plenty of riders who think the same, as Guéry was fast.
Spain now, the first up for Spain is Mariano Martinez Bastida, part of the European Championship lineup last year in Milan. This is the
Mariano Martinez Bastida with you. Right, and then well out. Jumped it well. He's not going as fast as Guéry, and Guéry was in at 81.34. Gives him a lot of room on 8, and now might risk to lose too much time. Mariano Martinez Bastida. tries to curve him through that triple combination, holds him for the 7 up to Porsche. But the 84 seconds might be too tight for the Spaniard. Takes his time in the rollback to Caser Seguros. 5 strides up the hill next. Holds him for 5. Into the final line. He's got 14 seconds to get home. Quite a bit to gallop still. 8 to the last, and how about the time? Who has it down, and he's at the same time as Seguiri. 4 penalties in 81.88. The blank for Mariano Martinez Bastida, with him finishing 2.2 seconds inside the time allowed. One would think, could think that the time is reasonable and doable, but you've got nothing to spare, that's clear. It's not a killing time allowed. Ooh, and he was off. Yeah, he came there on 8. Let's keep an eye on that. If others would ride 9, of course, an extra stride would have brought him closer to the time allowed. The challenge now for FMS, Fernando Martinez Sommer with Korbakker in round 1 of Global Champions League. Had a fault. Now, fresh Korbakker gets a second run. You land and straight away you must turn. The bonsai trees. He's having a good rhythm there, Fernando Martinez Sommer. Flowing 6, beautifully ridden. Korbakker feels well on the grass. Gave that plenty of air as well, goes for the 8 strides, doesn't risk the 7. There is a 7. If you want to be extremely competitive and fast, there is a 7. But you don't want to come flying into this triple combination. Oh, runs a little bit short, and he really had to hold him there in that final stride. Good support from Fernando Martinez Sommer. Little rub there on the vertical. Final fences coming up. FMS, final Oxer. He rides an extra stride to the plank and leaves that one up. And look at that, he is a second inside the time. The clear round from Fernando Martinez Sommer from Mexico. A second inside the time, just under. And the first clear with Mexican influence.
Have seen times faster, but it is the 0 that goes to number 1 spot. Fernando Martinez Sommer sets the pace now for the rest with Korbakker.
FMS and Korbakker go out. We focus on Spain with Teresa Blasquez Abascal and Nasa de Toxandria, who already jumped the first round, the class earlier, was very fresh in that class. Maybe that was the perfect setup to jump this qualifier. Maybe have a bit more control, but it starts there again to get hectic at the second fence. Teresa Blasquez. Wow. Really knocking on the ground, but shooting into the combination and then punching the front rail out. To the upright, and the triple, naturally a fast horse. This is Nasa de Toxandria. Ooh, difficult to see from this angle where the rail exactly sits, but it looked like he was running himself really deep there. Nasa. That's a mare, Nasa, so she have to be careful these days. Time allowed, as mentioned, 84 seconds. Flies over that Oxer. And there, the time penalty just escaped by half a second. 83.54. Teresa Blasquez Abascal and Naza de Toxandria. 1 down, 4 penalties. Early in that combination at 4AB. See how deep he flies into that combination. There, her husband, Armando Trapote. And a very happy Teresa Blasquez, who will go on to compete in the Grand Prix based on that result, one would think. Start straight away for Manuel Fernandez Saro, already the 3rd Spanish rider. He's on Callisto KS. Swedish bred, Swedish warm blood by Cabochon and Berlin. Oh, and he had to work in that combination already at the first fence, and I don't think that Callisto has jumped that many big classes in his career. Callisto is 11. Indeed, this is his first meter 60 class. Bred at Stal Kristineberg in Sweden. And the center of the triple is down as well, making that 8 penalties now. For Fernando Martinez. No, not for Fernando Martinez, for Manuel Fernandez Saro. Lots of F's, M's and S's in there. Light rub, just getting used to the height. As Manuel Fernandez Saro comes home for the final line on a score of 12. He'll be touch and go on whether he will qualify for the Grand Prix or not. Time penalty will be added. Oh, that's going to be difficult. 17 is the score for Manuel Fernandez Saro. That might mean that there is no Grand Prix for him. He's been already in good form in previous years in the Madrid Grand Prix. Always a highlight in his season. But the inexperience at this point in the career of Callisto might cost him the qualification for the Grand Prix on Sunday afternoon here at the beautiful Campo de Via. Manuel Fernandez Saro with Callisto. Luis Felipe Neto de Azevedo with the 11-year-old Pandora Boy by the great Presley Boy. And so, again, this weekend, no outing for the youngster on the Monaco Aces, powered by line of Porsches team. He's knocking on the door. His father and Duarte Shebra make up the team this weekend. He can mature, ripen in the shadow before being exposed to the pressure on Global Champions League. Went for the 8, got them a little late, it seems. Almost at a dead distance. And then beautifully deep and too deep. The idea was good to get a deep stride to the Oxer for him to slow down. But it was too deep. Too far past the point of takeoff. And so it is 4 penalties for the junior, for Luis Felipe Neto de Azevedo, his father to come later on Global Champions League. Yeah, it was a good turn. Tries to get him back on his hind leg, lost a little bit of the balance there but before the final fence, and then ends on 4 penalties, and just in time as well. That is well played by Luis Felipe Neto de Azevedo and Pandora Boy.
Finishing on just 4:83.43 into 4th place so far, the Brazilian Luis Felipe Neto de Azevedo and Pandora Boy second in 2nd place.
La zona francesa no le han ido bien las cosas en la prueba anterior, ahora monta su mejor caballo Dexter Becker, Glenn, ya es Jan Sagan.
He's on to France now, and right officially well in the Monaco Grand Prix last year is
Jean Sadran would have been expected to ride on GCL, but their elimination in round 1 meant that the team Shanghai Swans do not compete in round 2, and so she competes as individual. Jean Sadran here with Dexter de Kerguelen. Looking for some vengeance on this 11-year-old stallion by My Lord Carthago and Diamant de Semilly. Good run, good turn. It's a good comeback from Jean Sadran, who has 2 fences left to jump. Only the clear from Fernando Martinez Sommer on the board, and she's good for the clock. She's good for the clock. Jean Sadran, can she check once before heading to the plank? And she does so and gets the fastest clear. Good comeback. Showed some mental strength, some mental resilience there. Jean Sadran and Dexter, after the disappointing round in round 1 of GCL, now a good comeback as individual for Jean Sadran. And the apple of her eye, Dexter de Kerguelen.
Siguiente jinete, número 8 de este trofeo Marqués de Riscal, jinete irlandés, campeón de Europa por equipos, ganador de un Gran Premio Longines Global Champions Tour en Doha, Dennis Lynch, montando a Cordial.
Winner in Mexico City, winner just last week in Hamburg as well, on to Ireland with Dennis Lynch.
Dennis Lynch with Cordial, not part of the GCL team of New York Empire. That's reserved for Brash and McAteer. Lynch can ride as an individual, and he is a man on a mission, it seems. 6 in, and then he comes out of the combination, and he's pushing, and at this pace, with the stride of this horse, he could overtake Jean Sadran. And there's the long 7 that we've been waiting for. Dennis Lynch shows us the way. The 7 is feasible, and it is not an impossible task either. Cordial, good form. The 7, the rollback, comes up after the Ola upright. Here, rollback to Caser Seguros. Slows down, careful jump there from Cordial. It's a naturally careful horse, already with Megan Moissonnier. Lynch now pushing and pushing and pushing. 2 fences left. Is there still gas in the tank? He already jumped round 1. Cordial. And the last and over. And look at that, 75.93 seconds means that he is 3.5 seconds faster than Jean Sadran. Indeed, Cordial showing good form. And Lynch with yet another clear on this stallion.
75.93, Lynch now takes over the top spot. Pole position with Cordial for Ireland.
Amazona de Canadá, oro y plata por equipos en 2 Juegos Panamericanos. Monta Butterfly, un hijo de Vigo de la Sur, ganador este año de un Gran Premio de 4 estrellas. En Wellington, Tiffany Foster en pista número 9 de la prueba.
Team silver at the Pan American Games last year, and Grand Prix winner in Wellington in Florida this year with this horse. Ken Farrington of the Austin Farms Battle Cry, written by Canada's Tiffany Foster.
Tiffany Foster with Battle Cry. Ooh, first fence down for the Canadian. We've got plenty on 4 penalties, so if she can bring herself into the group of 4s and do that on a fast 4, there is no problem, but now it's 8. That means at best 8th place. As mentioned, 46 riders compete in this Grand Prix qualifier. 46 compete, 40 will progress into the Grand Prix, 6 need to drop out. Manuel Fernandez Saro is in that danger zone with a score of 17, and Tiffany Foster is now on 12. and might creep up or drop into that group. The afternoon is still young, and plenty is still to be jumped, but the 12 is on the board for Foster. To come home on a very fast 12 indeed. There's Tiffany Foster with the battle cry leaving that final fence up. That is 12 penalties in 80.01 seconds. Tiffany Foster is 8th after 9 riders.
Pareja con muchos éxitos internacionales, la que está en pista, joven amazona, veterano caballo, ganadores aquí en Madrid en 2022, ganadores en Parkinson.
Annoying fault there at fence 1.
Part of the World Championship team taking home medals in Henny in 2022 and twice winner of Grand Prix on the Launching Global Champions Tour, including here in Madrid with his very horse. Sarah Tyson of the Netherlands with the 18-year-old.
As Tiffany Foster walks out, Salatese has made it into the ring. Salatese with, the crowd's favorite, you could say, with Konkidam RB, winner of this Madrid Grand Prix. Valkenswaard as well, of course. And Tyson is off with her 18-year-old stallion. Wow, how he jumped that double. Unconventional, yet characteristic for Konkidam. Grabs the bridle, takes the initiative and says, hey, there is the next fence, I'm off. Hang on, Sanne, we're going. Wow, how he loves this big grass ring. If anyone asks you, show me a happy athlete, well, here is one. Endless ability. And there she wanted to hold and maybe go for 6. He wanted to go for 5, and they were in between. And it ended only with a rail. Salatese and Konkidam now head for the final fence, are home fast. Oh, but they make it 8. Salatese and Konkidam, 8 penalties, 76-8. Would have been the fastest 4. Now they drop when they are 8th as it stands. And just as a reminder, you know in the meanwhile that 6 will not compete in the Grand Prix. 6 will drop out and will not make the cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there was almost a 6th right in there, and then she's so smart to let go of those reins so he can keep tension on that top line of his and not invert. Otherwise things could have gone much sour, more sour for Salatese and Konkidam. Rodrigo Carrasco. Rodrigo Carrasco from Chile. '49-year-olds. And that great horse Acapulco FZ. Now with Crescendo, an early fault at 3. And so Carrasco will need to keep some rhythm in order to guarantee his spot in the Grand Prix. Is 4 going to be enough, or can you still make it in on 8? And he jumped plenty of championships already in his career. World Cup finals, World Championships in Tryon. Final fences. For the man who rode the London Olympics on Or de la Charbonnière. The finish with an early fault and thus 4 penalties, but from there on, after fence 3, kept it clean, and the time is not bad. It's an average time. It makes him 6th at the moment. He has got 5 riders behind him already, so that would guarantee him of a spot in the Grand Prix of Sunday. Oh, and it's such a light rub as well. There was not much there. Sergio Moya with Jackson here. Jackson by the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Valkenswaard winner Van Gogh out of an Indoctro Concorde mare. Jackson, who now jumps his first meter 60 class, so somewhat similar to Manuel Fernandez Saro. Was produced by Ismael Garcia Roque and Alfredo Garcia Munoz. Horse with an enormous swing. Van Gogh, that was Marco Kutscher, of course. Van Gogh, who also sired Cosmo, the great dressage horse of Zanke Roteberger. Also plenty of championships for Cosmo, even the Olympics in Rio. But here focusing on Sergio Moya, who goes clear, and that is the first Spanish clear. So Sergio Moya guaranteed of a spot in the Grand Prix. Sergio Moya also has Koningin here, not his regular Grand Prix horses, you could say. So Koningin by Carrera hasn't jumped a meter 60 class herself. So which horse is going to jump that Grand Prix? 2 inexperienced horses in both Koningin and there's Jackson. Maybe there's Jackson most ready to take on that meter 60 level, especially after this outing here on this qualifier. In any case, Moya is in. He's got 2 days to decide who will ride in the Grand Prix on Sunday. Ballerine du Vilpion, the chestnut mare, well done with Roger Yves Bost. The mare by Balobin du Rouet. He goes for 7. He waits, Busty, and adds, stays quiet, doesn't want to rush the mare, get her overexcited. And easily waits for the 8 here as well. Center of the triple as his French team, the French connections with Olivier Robert and his crew marched on from Kiss and Cry. That was a strong note, but that is still up. Busty normally a fast rider, this horse a fast mover, but he does go quite wide on some turns, has added in a few lines as well. Guéry, the fastest on 4. And look at that, how easy that he makes that. Oh, I was going to say how easy he makes the time, but in the end he comes through on 8, and 8 in 78.74 for Roger Yves Bost, who blames himself as he comes home to a stop with Ballerine du Vilpion. I don't know how good your French is, but that was swearing in French. Tried to hold the mare to the final plank. Did not manage that.
Winner of the previous class, the Olympic champion.
Just had no control over her.
International point break. He won the Nations Cup Grand Prix in Wellington, Florida this year. Ben Mayer next, and Ben Roster, Pamela Wright's 10-year-old points break.
The great stallion point break with Ben Mayer. Make up number 14 on the start list, 19 in 20 individuals rather. And Ben Mayer very tight in that second turn. And a little punch, the little tap. Speeds up in the two strides and beautifully shapes. And did you see how strong he still was to finish that jump coming out of the triple combination? Brutal power shown there by point break. Also the balance to stay on that hind leg, though he was, for the eye at least, was speeding up to come out of that triple combination. Heading home on a very fast four. Ben Mayer and point break. The fast four comes from those very fast first turns in this Grand Prix qualifier. 79.56. 4 penalties are his for Ben Mayer and point break, with 4 clears in front of him. Those are Lynch, Sadran, Martinez Sommer and Alvarez Moya. Mayer sits 5th, is guaranteed of a place in the Grand Prix. And that means that in the meanwhile, Rodrigo Carrasco with 4 penalties in 82.60. That is now the man who is guaranteed. He would be at this point the last man to qualify for the Grand Prix, first man to go in the Grand Prix. So basically 4 penalties in 82.60. And then you're guaranteed at this point already of a spot in the Grand Prix. Antoine Herman with Comic Star is by Levi Stam, this Comic Star out of a Diamant de Semi-Ymer. The young Frenchman is in the ring after a somewhat disappointing run for Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M. We love horses. Well rhythm into the combination, I was about to say. Beautiful in his hand. But then Comic Star kind of let him down to come out of the double. Maybe rode for the back rail and couldn't protect the front rail, Antoine Herman. And now he's on 8. That puts him in the danger zone. Now he's on 12. And he's in the danger zone even more as Tiffany Foster jumped with 12 penalties in 80.01. Tiffany Foster is second last. And at this pace, Antoine Herman could just overtake, or could sink behind Tiffany Foster. Might even pick up a time penalty. Ooh. Almost did not get there on the 5. .84 seconds time allowed. Antoine Herman, finish line, and it is 83.11. He goes indeed behind Tiffany Foster. He sits now second last in the danger zone to qualify for the Grand Prix. In the meanwhile, Luis Felipe Neto de Azevedo is also qualified for the Grand Prix. Based on this result of Antoine Herman, he's got enough riders behind him to have himself within the group of the best 40.
Olympic medalist and European champion, 3-time winner of Grand Prix on the Launching Global Champions Tour. Germany's Malcolm Kutscher now, and the 10-year-old by Cannon from Leida Verdi. This is Karajan Kutscher.
Kutscher is back in the ring. We spoke of Kutscher earlier with Jackson, the horse of Sergio Moya, sired by Van Gogh, his Grand Prix winner. That was his last Launching Global Champions Tour Grand Prix win there in Valkenswaard. Now Kutscher is on yet again a stallion. He is on Karajan. Rode plenty of Wiemselbach stallions. like Van Gogh, like numero uno, like L'Esprit, but here Karajan, just like Antoine Herman's comic star, punches the front rail of that Longines Oxer, the Longines double. Over Ola, on the rollback to Caser Seguros, goes quite wide here. Kutscher takes off at what was that, 66.5. Gives us an idea for the time allowed. Yep, he's going to pick up a time penalty. And more than one, actually. Marco Kutscher makes it 7. And with that, everything changes again. And now also Teresa Blasquez Abascal is in the group for the jump for the Grand Prix, rather. That means that at this point, if you come around with 4 penalties in time, you would be in the group of the best 40.
Montalangón, con el que fue oro por equipos y plata individual el pasado año en los Juegos Panamericanos en Farrington, Estados Unidos.
Well, number 6 for the USA and Ryder Wolski road to a team goal.
The Royal Box. I have just witnessed and watched how Marco Kutscher came through on 7 penalties, and here is an exciting horse, London, with Kent Farrington. London by Comme il faut plus and Quadrillo. Comme il faut plus, the son of Comme il faut and Malou du Rouet. Jumped very well with Christian Amann, but got injured at young age, so never shown in the sport. Well, was a little freak of nature himself, ultra careful. And this is what he has produced from his oldest crop, I believe. Kragdenese was his original name. Ooh, but that was a hard fault. Looking down at the Liverpool, not keeping his eye on the top rail. His partner there, Tiffany Foster, who is not guaranteed of a spot in the Grand Prix just yet. Farrington himself, a former Grand Prix winner. That was with Gazelle. And now London really coming off the ground at the Ola upright. Oh, they get very long there. Up the hill, some horses really stall. They land a little bit shallow, a little bit steep, and then don't react. London nearly not making the 5 strides. Kent Farrington, on the other hand, making a fast time, making it in 78.62. Kent Farrington, the fastest on 4, even faster than Meer. And Farrington is in the Grand Prix based on this result. Kent Farrington and London. He can choose between London and Greya, and one would think that he would go for London. You don't see that very much. Pessoa a bit. It was very popular at one point, but now you don't see it that often.
Del Mundo de Budapest hace unos años, ganador de un gran premio en Oliva, ha estado en 3 mundiales. Oliver Lazarus monta Butterfly en el medio.
Competing well in California earlier on this year, onto the right to the World Championships. It's Oliver Lazarus now for South Africa.
Oliver Lazarus with Butterfly NML. Next, number 18 on the individuals. South African in his first Global Champions stage of the season. Oh, that falls so late. Cut the corner, came to the inside slightly, and then rolled it, but rolled it so late. And then as he comes out of that line, all of a sudden, he is on 8 penalties already. And at this point is fearing for qualification for the Grand Prix. Fast 8 from Salatese, 76.8. I don't think that Lazarus is going to make that time. It would mean that Lazarus's result is going to get Marco Kutscher qualified for the Grand Prix on Karajan. And home. Oh, he's even faster than Sanatese. That's impressive. That is impressive from Oliver Lazarus and Butterfly and ML. He's just ridden the fastest round of all. He was faster than Lynch, he was faster than Farrington, he was faster than Mir. Fastest round of the qualifier comes from Oliver Lazarus, but it does come with the 8 penalties. That fell late, and with the pace, that fell harder for the South African. But Oliver Lazarus is quicker than Sanatese. Anyone on 8 penalties will rank behind him, because who is going to go around as fast as Lazarus? At this point, Kutscher is now guaranteed of a spot in the Grand Prix on his 7 penalties from this qualifier. Armando Trapote, the Spaniard with Tornado VS. The gelding by Toulon, bred by Vanessa Schokkemöller, hence the VS. You know who the father is? He breeds horses with PS. That's a stride there, I believe. No, 7. 7 is standard indeed. It's a bit of a handful. It's a bit all over the place all the time. But come Sunday, he's always right on temperature. There's Tornado. What's in a name? Couldn't have named him any better. Whirlwind. 1 fence left. Look how carefully he jumped that. And there's another clear coming. It'll be the 5th clear of the afternoon. It is the 2nd Spanish clear, and it is Armando Trapote who finishes in 78.77. Armando Trapote is 2nd as it stands. Great position to go into the Grand Prix on Sunday. And if you look at it, so far 4 Spanish riders already qualified for the Grand Prix that they are yet to win for the first time. Never ever did a Spanish rider win the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Madrid. They won the Grand Prix of Madrid plenty of times in the past, but never in Longines Global Champions Tour colors or theme, or since we came to Madrid years ago to this Club Campo de Villa.
Actual número 7 del ranking mundial, Max Kuhner monta el GCL up to Jacob Blue.
He's been coming here since 2013 to Madrid. Max Kuhner now. He is the last of the individuals with EIC up to Jacob Blue. Wow, that was a beautiful set of turns ridden there by Max Kuhner. Challenging Dennis Lynch and Armando Trapote and Jean Sadran, ironically his Global Champions League Shanghai Swan teammate. And he's really moving, and he's working there, Max Kuhner. Looked like he was going to rush that upright, but it's still standing. Caser Seguros. Is he then going to ride even faster than Oliver Lazarus? Lazarus had 8 in 74.82, and I think that Kuhner is going to smash that time with EIC up to Jacob Blue. There he comes, just over 70 seconds. Max Kuhner is the fastest of the lot, and by a landslide. What a round from Max Kühner, 72.62. Imagine that those Shanghai Swans riders could have produced this in the second round of GCL. They would be clear and onto the podium, but no such thing after their elimination. As individuals, however, they have done a brilliant job.
New leader then with a clear at 72.62 to completely individualised before the team, and the team riders will also count towards this with a new fastest time of
Max Kühner, I don't think anybody will take this away from him. Is it now already set in stone that Max Kühner is going to start as last to go in the Grand Prix here in Madrid? One would think so. After these rounds of Max Kühner, Lynch is second, Trapote is now third, then Jean Sadran, Fernando Martinez Sommer, Sergio Alvarez Moya. 6 have gone clear, and a whole group on 4 penalties, and those in difficulties. Manuel Fernandez Saro, Antoine Herman, Tiffany Foster, Roger Ilbo, Salatijse, and still Oliver Lazarus. Those on 8 penalties are not yet qualified for that Grand Prix. The Grand Prix that will be held here on Sunday. Grandstands filling up nicely as we progress, because Global Champions League is coming up. We are counting down to the first of 13 teams, not 14, 13, as Shanghai Swans were eliminated. Global Champions League round 2 coming up in just a few minutes, live here from Madrid. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Madrid and welcome to the Global Champions League of 2024. We are at the first of the European stages at the Club Campo de Villa for the 5th stage of the season, following our travels to Doha, to Miami Beach, Mexico City and Shanghai. Now we land in the green Club Campo de Villa de Madrid after that state-of-the-art, very innovative stage in Shanghai. Now Madrid will act as host. Round 1 has already been completed here a few hours ago, and round 1 did surely produce a few surprises. So round 2 is coming up and will lead you straight through it, as the temperature has risen by 1 degree. The wind has dropped, as you can see there, but the sun has come out a little bit more than it did earlier today. It's a round 1 with plenty of surprises, ladies and gentlemen, as here the previous winners are shown: Paris Panthers, Berlin Eagles, oh, that was also Riesenbeck International, now named Shanghai Swans, and twice London Knights over the previous years here in Madrid. Paris Panthers won't win it, as the team is no part of GCL this year. Neither will London Knights, and also Shanghai Swans. Well, they did not come out very well, did they? After their elimination in Ramadan, you hear it right, they were eliminated already back in Mexico City, and now a round 1 elimination here in Madrid. Not eliminated, but double clear, top of the league, top of the board at least. Valkenswaard United double clear, as well as Riesenbeck International, and then other low-ranked teams from from the championship, like Madrid, like New York, like Istanbul Warriors, Monaco Aces, all in that group. And the top teams, well, there you have them. Prague Lions, Cannes Stars come out with 8 penalties. Doha Falcons on 12 and Stockholm Hearts, number 2 on the championship, on 16. Now, there has been already a lot of discussion has been going on about how this ranking would shape up if there was only a first round and not a second round. Well, then this team, New York Empire, powered by Lugano Diamonds, would take second place, but would stay behind Cannes Stars, who would continue to lead the championship. But also, the Doha Falcons would remain in third, and Riesenbeck would make quite a climb as well. But the biggest climb would be for Valkenswaard United, would move up into the top 4 for the first time in a very, very long time. But that would only be if there was only one round 1. We also have a second round, so things can turn around quickly. Ask John Whittaker, because Whittaker knows what can happen. In Doha, just a few months ago, he was last to go in the second round of the Global Champions League stage there in Qatar. And his horse, Equine America Unique de Framport, turned around, turned out of the corner, had to go right, but decided to turn left. And it cost them a circle refusal and plenty of time penalties as well. In the end, it meant that the team, instead of winning the stage out there in Doha, Qatar, Valkenswaard United finished second last in 13th place. Let's hope that is not the scenario for this weekend for Valkenswaard United. They desperately need a good result. They are 11th on the standings before coming here to Madrid. Talking about scenarios, this is the theater that Santiago Varela has designed. 1, 2, 3 serpentine looping on an S shape through the course, through the Club Campo de Villa, from Marqués de Riscal to Mahon and then to the upright. Next is a 6-stride, slightly following approach from Mahou, a slightly following 6 strides into the double combination. There's not too much room inside that double, 8 meters. Then you come in with quite a bit of pace. As said, it's not a perfect 6, it's slightly open. It's a meter too long to be a nice 6. Well, actually, a meter and a half too long to be a very nice 6. And it's a big oxer to come out, so you want to give some leg to get out of that combination, so the front rail might be at risk. Next, 5 to 6, there is a clear option. The 7 is feasible, but it's quite flat, and there is a Liverpool under fence 6 at Global Champions. Into the triple combination we go of Global Champions League. Smartly positioned down the hill, not too high jumping in, so you land quite deep into this combination. Horses speed up a bit more, and then that center part might just be way too close in front of your horse's nose to jump it. 7B and then 7C coming out at 8 meters 40, so quite generous to come out. 7 strides is available in the next part. And then you roll back slightly downhill to Ola, the newspaper that covers the events here at Club Campo de Villa. Roll back to fence 10, the upright of Caser Seguros. And then it is 5 strides up the hill, depending with how much swing you jump that upright. The 5 are normal or are actually fairly long up the hill. Last 2 fences left, as in this turn you can again win or lose a little bit of time. At fence 12, it's a very airy oxer, and then it's an 8-stride approach to a blank. It says here that it's a round rail, but it's actually a blank at fence 13, the final fence at the far side of the arena. Up and down and around we go, with plenty of loops and plenty of options and possibilities to make up or lose some time. Let's look at the start list. Mexico Amigos go first on a score of 17. Nadia Peter-Steiner has changed horse. She has gone to No Comment de Septon. Olivier Perron stays with his mount. Nicolas Philippard comes in for Stockholm Hearts, powered by 18 and Wheel of Horses, a score of 16. Also 16 for Scandinavian in Vikings, where Van Eckerman goes to Glamorgan. And the Doha Falcons see two changes. Vermeer comes in for Guéry, and the Leicester goes to Dexter Fontenay. The teams sit on 12 penalties. Prague Lions, powered by Czech Equestrian Team on 8, where de Vos comes in for Fernando Martinez Sommer, and Bruinseels goes to Origi van de Vosberg. Gent Stars, powered by Iron Dames. Hinners with a change to Sinclair, and Katin Eckermann goes to her Grand Prix winning Kalamandia. Team also on 8. Team on 4 there, Rome Gladiators, powered by ClipMyHorse.tv. The great Palutinho is back, and that is with Laura Kraut. De Luca comes in with Denver de Talma. Monaco Aces, powered by Line of Porches, also on 4. Good result there from Duarte Shebra. No changes for the team. Istanbul Warriors, powered by Carpe Diem. It is Scar replacing Geraldine Straumann. Team on 4. Also team on 4. Madrid in Motion, where both Van der Vleuten and Aznar make horse changes. And last team on 4, New York Empire, powered by Lugano Diamonds. McAteer comes in for Lynch. Brash goes to a different horse, to Hello Jefferson. That was the last team on 4. Team on clear, 2 horse changes. Kobe and Checker for Riesenbeck International, powered by Kingsland, on a double clear so far. And also double clear, Valkenswaard United, where Hermitage Cologne is now to jump his first ever meter 60 class. John Whittaker and Equine America Unique de Framport have jumped plenty of those. The warm-up with all its activity, and they have left the warm-up. Nadia Peter Steiner with No Comment de Septon, horse that we saw for the first time in Shanghai 2 weeks ago. This horse we know really well. It's Buda Zeyada's If Looks Could Kill horse, and unfortunately for him, jumped for 8 penalties in round 1. It was 9 penalties for Nadia Peter Steiner with Jean Pelou. So 17 is the starting score for this combination, for this team rather. Mexico Amigos team sit 4th on the standings. Prague Lions just behind them, so they risk being overtaken by the Lions. Rome Gladiators 4.5 points behind them on the championship, as well as New York Empire. So if they cannot turn things around, they risk dropping 3-4 places even on the standings. They had their very good results starting in Doha on the podium. It was also very strong in Miami Beach, where they were 5th. But actually, if you look at the tendency from the podium in Doha to 5th, and then to 7th, and then to 8th, it's going quite downhill, in fairness. This is No Comment de Septon. Look at the huge stride of this stallion. He's by Jensen van het Meulenhof, the stallion of Niels Bruinseels. And then out of a Couleur Rubinaire. No Comment de Septon. 6 in, wide on 6. It's flowing for the other horses, but if you've got a step like this horse, it's an easy 6. Could actually be an easy 7 here as well. Or goes for 8 in the end. Nadia Peter Steiner thought that she would give him the easy 7, not to fiddle too much with the distances and not to having to shorten him too much, but he handles it quite well. No Comment de Septon. There, stays too low over the center vertical, as we said. The first oxer isn't overly big, so you come in with quite a bit of pace. You land farther into the combination than you normally would do. If the fence is more up, you get a more round shape. And she risks a time penalty. Again, Nadia Peter Steiner. It's 84 seconds the time allowed. Time penalty risk for Nadia Peter Steiner. And she's going to catch another time penalty, as she did already in round 1. How many will they add? It's going to be quite a few. 3 to add. Nadia Peter Steiner and No Comment de Septon. That is 7 to add. And that puts the team at this point on 24.
For jumping 3 time, finishing on a score of 7 to add with 17 of the scoring ball forward, so total of 24 for teams so far from Mexico Amigos.
Vamos ya con el segundo integrante del equipo, repite. primera manga, mismo jinete, mismo caballo, Mouda Sellada, Ignus, Kutkill, OH.
Top 20 individually at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. The second rider for Mexico Amigos is Mouda Sellada now, the 11-year-old. Looks good.
And so Mouda Sellada to keep the team on 24. That is really the challenge now for him. With if looks could kill OH. For the Amigos. Mouda, who started really strong with this horse. Oh, but there it goes. Jumped 3 consecutive clears early in the season. But since then, has lacked that little bit of luck, that little bit of magic. And after 3 clears, now 3 rounds without a clear for the Egyptian, who is based near Antwerp, born and raised in Alexandria in Egypt. Says the front rail, a team at 32. This is going to be a costly weekend for their statistics, but also for their position on the ranking. Lions, Gladiators, and even Empire very likely to overtake this team, Mexico Amigos. And he's going wide. Is he risking a time penalty as well? 84 seconds is the time trap. There comes Mouda Sellada. If looks could kill. Oh, just in time. So it is 8 for Mouda Sellada. It was 7 for Nadia Petersteiner. In the end, it is 32 for the Mexico Amigos. Not their weekend, and it'll cost them at least 3 places on the standings. If Riesenbeck would go on to win the stage, it might even be 4.
Segundo equipo en salida a pista en esta segunda manga, parten con 16 puntos. Estos son Hearts, powered by H&M Window Horses. Están segundos en la clasificación de esta temporada tras ser terceros en Miami. Un equipo que ha ganado en muchas sedes, en Estocolmo, en Londres, en Doha, en Mónaco. Un equipo que se incorpora a esta competición en 2022.
A very difficult Global Champions League stage here in Madrid for Mexico Amigos. They finished collectively on 32 penalties. Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M Wheel of Horses, are the next team in the gate. There is the bell. If you want to watch the rest of Global Champions League Round 2, you want to watch the Stockholm Hearts and everybody else, make sure you get your GCTV Live Pass. Subscribe now and check out the rest of GCL.